Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Yes, we lost audio. That's just the way it ended, unfortunately. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the 94th public meeting for testimonials. This is for Monday, September 9th, 2024, and is a broadcast of the KF Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host here once again in this continuing monthly series of workshops. We're up to almost 8 years. Another couple of months will be 8 years of continuous monthly public meeting for testimonials. And we've seen many amazing and wonderful testimonials over that time period. Our background image today is courtesy of Gianni, and we'll be seeing some more of that during our testimonial meeting here. I'm going to play back some of the Gianni was in our plasma reactor group meeting, the KF plasma reactor group, and showed some of the things that he's been involved with lately. And so we'll have some excerpts of that with English translation. So the background image is part of the, you could say Gianni works with fields. In this case, it's a field of sunflowers. And we'll see more about that later. Obviously, they're having some good results. Okay, so how do we begin here? We have a presentation from Roseanne and something from Andreas as well. I think maybe we'll begin with Roseanne and see where that takes us. She sent me some pictures. Hello, Roseanne.
Hello, Ray.
Hi.
Hi.
So tell us about your latest adventures in the world of plasma. What do you have to share?
Yeah, I had these Japanese beetles coming and destroying my plants. I'm not a farmer, it's just in the house. So then I tried to make the plasma of the body of these Japanese beetles. As you see in the picture, how they damage the leaves. And yeah, the next one, the same. And the fence was fully covered with beautiful, huge leaves before they started attacking the plant. Now, like half of the fence is clear from the leaves, and then I started. Yeah, you see, these are the new growth after I put these bottles. First, I was just spraying with the plasma water of their body. So, but after rain, it was washed away, and they were coming back again, many numbers. So I came up with this idea. So maybe I can put in bottles, small bottles, and put it there so many can feel. So deter them. Then if you, this is after I put those bottles. You see the new growth of the leaves. And if you go to the maybe next picture, I lost the, yeah. See how the leaves came back and they are healthy, good looking. And if you go to the next picture, I put like, yeah, this is how it was before, you know, this corner is saved somehow. Most of the leaves are saved, but the other side of the fence, the leaves were almost like gone. They look so bad. Yeah, this is also new growth after I put those bottles of the plasma of their body on the fence. Maybe in next pictures you can see. I just put the bottles randomly. I didn't know how to put the layout, so not in this picture. Oh, didn't I send the picture?
I think I must be missing one then.
Okay.
You have a picture of the bottles, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I put in the 3 spots. So after that, let me see. I had them. Oh, maybe I'm sending them. Oh, these are the small plastic bottles. No, I didn't. Okay, I go to my camera again and to see if I can find them and send them. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Do you need a couple of minutes to do that? Should we?
Sure, I just can explain what happened. After I put, then I came up with this idea to put the GANs, the plasma water in bottles, and I put them in 3 spots. And after that, I saw like, still they came, these bugs came, but in very few numbers. And they were somehow smaller, their bodies were smaller, not as big as the before insects. And also I had this apricot tree next to the fence, and the tree was always also saved. And I see that like new growth, like 10 centimeter growth with no damage. And I didn't take a picture of my roses, and my roses started because they like to eat the petals of the roses. So my roses started blooming and full of flowers. They're nice. So somehow it works. So I'm gonna send more pictures, so I don't wanna see.
Okay.
You see that apricot tree on the back of the fence? Yeah, I couldn't have a big picture, but I'll check if I have more pictures. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'm curious about the containers you used, and like to see a picture of that. That'd be great.
Yeah, these are small bottles, like 60 ml bottles.
And they were closed containers, closed bottles.
Yes, yes.
Cap on them.
Here, I found one of them. Let me send it. I cannot find you, Rick, here on my iPad. I don't know why. Let me Send it to my.
I'll send you a message. Maybe it'll come through.
Send to my messages, save messages, and then and then I send it to you after that. Somehow I don't know. I don't have you on my iPad. Okay. Sorry about the delay.
No problem.
Okay, I got my apricot tree picture too. So I'm gonna use my iPhone. Somehow I have access from there to you. And send them from there. Okay. Okay, I send the first picture. And the second. And the third.
Ah, there we see the mysterious bottle.
It don't seem so mysterious. But for the bugs, yeah.
Well, the bugs are wondering, what is this thing? And why does it feel like our dead relatives are in there?
Yeah, did you get my apricot tree as well?
Yep.
Okay. Got it. So, I don't know if I didn't put the layout correctly. It should be like in a star formation way, because I just put them on the fence. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. So I thought, okay, it creates some sort of field, so it will deter them, which really worked. And this is more applicable maybe in farms or people that they have fruit garden. They can put the bottles. Still, I don't know how they have to put, but maybe at different spots, it makes a field that it will deter these bugs.
Yeah, I think Gianni uses that technique.
Yeah, for what? Another bug?
For farming, just for growing it, like in his own garden area. He places containers in various locations in sort of a grid pattern.
Yeah. What is his layout? Like in a star formation layout? Because it's all the same.
don't think he has star formation in particular. I think he just has a grid type of regular spacing, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Roseanne,
nice. Yes, go ahead.
did you tell us what you actually put in these bottles? I know you put your intention in, which I'm sure that's one of the most important, but what did you use as far as the matter state in these bottles?
Yes, I explained 2 months ago that I cut the bugs. It was said to put their heads, but I didn't feel to separate their head. I just put the whole body in, like, as many as that I could catch them. I didn't want them to call for other bugs to come, like for other Japanese beetles, because they secrete something that attracts them more. So I just cut them in a plastic bag one by one. They were mating when it was really hot. They were like attached to each other, like in tree. I don't know how they reproduced. But then I put their body in the CO2 water. I don't know if I had to put GANs to make it more powerful, or I just put in the GAN in the water, in plasma water, not the GANs. There was no GANs in it. And every time I was spraying, but by the rain, it was working and they were not coming. But when after, like, we had too much rain this year, and after each rain, before I get to them, they were coming again and damaging the plant. So I thought, okay, maybe I can put them in the bottle, and to make the field, so they don't like it, they will not come. And it worked. I still see a few, sometimes they come, but not as much as before. So my plant could grow, and even the apricot tree, you can show Rick the branches, they are growing, and see, it can magnify.
So the bugs are in the bottle?
No. I put in a bottle, and then I made the plasma of their body, and then I transferred the water.
Okay.
Should I put the body in there?
No, I was just wondering how you did it.
Yeah. This is in one of the teachings of, I think, how to deter the bugs or mosquitoes, I guess. And I thought, okay, I can apply for this one. And as you see, the new leaves are red, and bottom below that, like 10 centimeters, you see the holes in the leaves. If you magnify, you're able to magnify the picture, you can see that the after I put the
What are we trying to see again?
you see where the new leaves, growth of the new, yeah, on top, and below that you see the leaves that have holes in them, that they were damaged by these bugs. And for some reason, they didn't even come to, I didn't put in my apricot tree, but for some reason, I think the field maybe was big enough, wide enough, so they didn't come to this apricot tree. Sometimes, like, I saw like a few, not as much as like it was covered with these bugs. The bugs are kind of huge, so especially in sunny, hot days, they like to come. You see the leaves, there is hole in the leaves, and they make it like a sheer leaf. And
so you use dead bugs, you use the CO2 box, and then you took the water to put in the bottles.
Right.
After it was rinsed. You rinsed it? Yes.
When I have a GANS, I wash the salt, and I keep a bottle of the washed solution on top of the GANS, not the GANS. No, there is no GANS in it. I just remove and put it in a bottle. Whenever I need to use them, I use them. So I don't know, maybe if I put GANS inside the bottle, it would work even better. I haven't tried that because I don't have much GANS, so I just kept it for something else. Yeah, this is the way I use it. Just the plasma water, not the GANS, of the CO2, and I put the bodies inside that jar. And after that, I took the water from that jar to these bottles, or wherever I need. Even for my roses, I use this one, and it seems it's working.
Well, that's a good testimonial, and another example of how the fields of the GANS water emit far beyond the walls of the container.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very amazing.
Do you have neighbors, Roseanne, near?
Yes, I do.
And what are they reporting? Did you have any conversation about these beetles?
They, I haven't met them, but it seems that they have no problem. They apparently these bugs like certain plants, not all the plants. So I don't see them having like fruit trees or roses. I don't see that. So the plants look good that I see, and maybe they go far away somewhere else. I'm not sure about that, but it's deterrent here. Even the new bugs were coming, they were kind of, the body was smaller. I don't know why. Smaller in size.
Yeah, the new growth leaves look more or less untouched, and they're
Yes,
quite tenacious.
if you see the first picture,
Mhm.
those are the new growth after a month or two. So I took the picture, and they are looking good. They are looking healthy, not damaged.
So you change the condition in a way in the environment of these plants.
Right. If you go to the first pictures, you can see the new growth. Like if you go to the first pictures that I sent, you can see that the plant is growing, and I'm certain that by next year they will cover the fence again.
Yeah, these would look quite tasty to a beetle.
Yeah.
Fresh and young and so on and so forth. You know, that CO2 is pure energy. So by putting in the dead bugs, I thought I had heard Mr. Kesh mention something like that in one of the teachings. And obviously, you're creating a condition where it's almost warning them that it's not safe here by spraying that water. I'm just thinking that could be a possibility. Plus, your intention of not wanting them to be there.
Yes.
You're part
Actually,
of
I
the
put
reactor.
CO2.
Yeah.
I put the CO2 water by itself. I sprayed them scattered on my grass. It was really nice and green. But this one has the bug's body in them. So
Right. The CO2 being pure energy, it replicates whatever you add in there. This is the way I heard Alex from Nigeria explain it one time. So this created a condition or some sort of field to warn the other ones this is not a safe place for us because of
exactly.
the death, I think, of the other bugs. I'm just
But I
thinking.
don't know. I don't know. It's still a few comes, not not as before. As you see, the new growth of the leaves, and they like the young leaves, but they are safe from them because I don't see the bugs. If they come, I can see them. But I'll try. Could I use them? I don't know. Next year, I'm gonna use the same bottles for next year and to see if they are potent enough. If not, then I put the new water in them. You see you see how big the leaves were before? Nice and green, and even one year robin came and made a nest there and laid eggs there. It was like she could hide in there, so she found it a good place to make a nest. This year I saw one of them made a nest inside the apricot tree. So it's good
It's
for birds,
interesting.
not.
The CO2 is known for reducing temperature as well. So I'm wondering if some of the results of the bugs might be due to increased temperatures, which is, we've had the hottest summer ever recorded on planet Earth, basically this summer. And, it's generally getting warmer around the planet, and people are seeing the results. Different bugs are coming into to places where they weren't before, and the oceans are warming up as well, and we're getting sightings of certain kinds of sharks up in the northern part of North America on the Northwest coast here that we didn't have before, and other kinds of invasive plants and this kind of thing that start to take over. The whole ecology changes with just a couple of degrees in temperature difference. So perhaps the CO2 GANS water is a way to help support the cooling of local environments to get back to the better growth.
Might be, yeah. It's good to know, because these bugs come when it's like 30 degrees and over, or around like very hot sun is there, and then they like the sun and they reproduce when it's a hot and sunny day. It's in rainy days, I don't see any of them. Or a cool day, I don't see any of them. But only when it's really hot and sunny, and they come and but they don't like to go to my peach tree. They don't destroy the peach tree leaves, but they like pecan and apricot tree leaves and roses, the rose petals, not the leaves. I think this when I break the leaves of this Boston ivy, they kind of smell good. That's why maybe they like to eat the leaves. Or it looks like they are something in their saliva, or they have something, they poke it and they suck the liquid from the leaves. That's the way they make it. It looks like holes making.
If they don't like the peach tree, perhaps you can make a peach leaf GANS or something to leave out as a treat for them. They won't like it. They'll go the other way.
Like to eat the peach tree leaf, but apricot tree, it smells good. Also, sometimes we had a rabbit, I was giving them, but it was said not to give them a lot, but they liked it. They ate them all. They smell like fruity.
Yeah, that first picture that you showed, Rick, with the leaf, almost like they just left the skeleton of the leaf there. It reminded me of when we had these Japanese beetles when I was growing up, and it was one of the earlier pictures there. And they almost just leave like a skeleton.
Yeah.
And we had quite a time. It wasn't that one. These are the black holes it likes to create. But the one that maybe, is there one before this? I thought I remember something, but this is, yeah, definitely beetle.
Yeah, the fence was fully covered with green, beautiful leaves, and my neighbor, even next door, she liked them, and she was waiting when the weather was good. She was waiting for the leaf to grow back. But you see, all gone. Hopefully next year, I'll take a picture next year to see.
That would be good to have a before and after that way.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roseanne.
No problem.
Thank you. John, your microphone's open. I don't know if you mean it to be.
I muted it.
Do you want to mute it now? To mute my microphone?
Well, John had his open. I think it was by mistake, but John Wells. But he may have had a question. I'm just thinking.
Okay.
And the other nice part of using all natural fields is you're not tracking any of that pesticide into your home. And you're not storing it in your garage, and it's not running off into the water system.
Right.
If the GANS water runs off into the water system, well, that's a good thing, actually. You want it to. The only farm runoff that you want to go into your water system, think about it, it's opposite of all the other issues with farm runoffs, because the fertilizer normally in farming that causes issues if it runs off into streams or lakes. You can have overgrowth of plankton and other things. And same with the pesticides and the herbicides. They are not good to be running off your land into water as well. It's not even good to be using on the land or around
Rick,
or around living things.
What I find really toxic is the shingles on the roof of our houses.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
When it rains, it just toxin comes to the nature everywhere, to our grass. And if I had money, I would change the roof to metal, but it costs a lot, like 40K or more, 50K. So I cannot afford to do that. But these shingles are really like loaded with toxins, and with the water. Yeah, one time I tried, I said, okay, I like to, when I remember when I was a kid, we had this metal roof, and my mom always, when it was rainy, she was putting a pot after like an hour and to collect the rainwater. It tastes so good. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try that rainwater. I even put it in the far away from the dripping from the roof. But
yeah, and usually those metal sheets would be galvanized metal, which is zinc. So the runoff from those sheets is actually has zinc oxide, sort of zinc oxide GANS water coming off your roof in that case. You know, some of them are painted metal, but often people use especially in, you know, a third world country sort of situation, you might have galvanized sheeting for your roof, which is probably a lot better for you to be taking that high zinc water. Most people are short on zinc, and it's sort of a natural way to attain that through the zinc process.
Yeah, we don't even need to put there. We can put in the middle of the yard just to collect the rain after the dust and everything comes down, and then we collect that, and it was really tasty. But I taste this one, it was like chemicals in it. So
yeah,
it wasn't even coming from the roof. But
I think there's a question in the Q&A for Roseanne, Rick. She may have already answered it.
From
Wolfgang. But how did you, Roseanne, how did you put your intentions into this process or into the water? Was it an easy thing to do?
Yeah, it's my thought. It's not something I say something. It's just I'm thinking to do this for this, so it works.
So the question from Wolfgang is, have you also sprayed the plants with GANS water?
No, I don't have much. Just last year I did for the lawn, and it was really good. For the backyard lawn, I didn't have much to use for the front yard, and it was really nice and green. But for these plants, if I have extra, I may put in just water them, but usually I don't do that. It's just for this purpose, for these bugs, I use that water.
Yeah, you certainly created a dome of protection, because these beetles are quite, strong to get. They want to be there, and they come in the thousands usually.
I know, they are very vicious. I call them very vicious for killing the plants.
Voracious is a word we use for such things.
What word? Sorry, my English is not so great.
Voracious. It's kind of an unusual word, but it means sort of a vicious.
They have a big appetite.
Yes. It's a combination of viciousness and eating.
Yeah, they like rose petals too. I eat rose petals too, but these bugs didn't let even one rose to grow. But now my roses are growing very nicely. They destroyed like 6, maybe more than 6 of my roses. Now they are safe.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Roseanne.
Well, congratulations. Very nice job.
All right, perhaps we can move to Andreas. He has a testimonial of someone else and of his own as well, I believe. Andreas, are you ready to present?
Yes, hello to everyone. Lady Monica out of the German-speaking community wrote me a testimonial from her, and I can read it. I had severe hip pain about 2 months ago, so that every step I took hurt, and I also had a lot of pain at night. I ordered the new knee guns and used it as described. One small bed sprayed with plasma water at the front and one larger bed at the back. I only applied this at night for 1 week. The pain was almost gone after the first night. After a few days, the pain was completely gone. After a few weeks, I felt a slight twinge in my hip again. I only sprayed the front and back of the hip a few times. The hip pain is still completely gone today. A few years ago, I used the first knee guns for my meniscus problem, which was supposed to be operated on. This pain has never returned until today. Thank you very much and lovely regards. So, yeah, that's her testimonial. And we see how powerful the knee guns is and everything what we are doing. What I have to tell from myself, there is so much happening that I even forget all those things. Since we started with Mr. Cash started with the transmutation sessions or the headphone sessions, her life changed a lot. And for example, 1 year ago, I believe, I told it also here that I made a star formation out of the Cup of Life 1 GANs in my house, on the top of the house and then on the first floor and then on the corners in the garden. And I did it because I cutted the trees. On this day when I cutted the trees, I had pain everywhere in my body. I don't know why. It was not a difficult work, but I just had it and I knew what I'm doing. I'm cutting a leg off or a hand of a tree, and not only one. And there I decided I felt not good with it, and then I decided to add that to a Cup 1 production, the leaves, the soil parts of the branches. Yeah, and this was around 1.5 years ago. And I believe already before 2 winters. And last year, then the growth of the trees were 3 or 5 times more branches, which is not good, which was opposite that what I wanted. But the GANs yeah, it really seemed, or it accelerated the process of the growth, and suddenly also the what it's called, the grapes suddenly started really growing. They had problems over 10, 15 years. They don't really want it, and suddenly everything is full. And also other old trees which were damaged very much recovered. Not everyone. It seems that the time has come for them. But generally the vegetation improved very much. And this year I was making the garden with my son, and yeah, that was it's interesting. My mother said she don't want to do nothing anymore, and as soon I prepared the soil, she came already with plants and so on. And I was angry because I wanted to do it with my son, and she said she will not do something. And what was really interesting, I had a pumpkin, and she brought 3, I don't know the word for it now, something similar to the pumpkin.
Squash?
Watermelon?
Yeah, I don't know now, but the only place where I had to plant them was on a prepared little hill for the pumpkins. And interestingly, she had also one pumpkin, I believe. And interestingly, the snails attacked only her plants. And she had plants in her area, and her area was really destroyed. And from, I don't know which animals or what that was, there were only just problems at the most of the plants. But my pumpkin was growing like never before. I was also carrying him. I made it the first time that he's on the fence, that he's not on the ground, he's growing on the fence, and it was like a record to do it. But that's not the thing. I didn't care the tomatoes or the cucumbers that much, and they get the tomato blight, the tomatoes, so that the leaves get brown, or also the branches. And yeah, the fruits then are like blight. You cannot eat them. And this was the last, I don't know, it started 6 years ago in my village where everyone had the same problem. And it went also to the cucumbers. And yeah, suddenly you had no harvest. And yeah, I was wondering what to do in the last years and no idea. But this year I realized I didn't give the tomatoes and the cucumbers the attention what I gave to the pumpkin. And with the pumpkin, it was like, wow, growing so much, and he got my attention. And then I just changed this feeling what I had for this plants to the tomatoes and to the cucumbers. And it was in this moment clear for me. And after 2 weeks, then I had a look again. I was not that much more in the garden. And they were not fully back, but at least the new branches and leaves were all good again, and also the tomatoes. And now I can eat them. And that had never been before. And I stopped using ganses. I mean, the star formation is still there. Even maybe the gans is dry or not, I don't know, it's in the earth. But when I come to a plant, I didn't think about I give now something. I mean, sometimes, but I just appreciate their being. And I know I'm connected with them, and it's not by chance what is happening in the garden. And for me is clear that I don't want to use ganses anymore because I have everything in myself what I can do. Even maybe I don't know how good I am, but I throw the fear away from everything and or not having ganses, let's say it like this way, and I trust myself that I can do it myself with the energy. And it's only a little excerpt because we spoke about the garden. We are all connected all the time with all beings. And seeing the world, I don't know, positive or lucky or healthy does not, or you just trust that that everything is okay. The things start automatically to happen. Maybe it's because there are no attachments anymore and we don't have to say in a way, I give freely from my soul. It happens from alone as long there is the trust that you are all the time connected. It's not so easy, or because we want every time a confirmation that we have done it consciously, but we don't need it. It's just happening with the soul, or the energy is doing it from alone. And the only thing maybe is to stand up every day and have the wish that everyone should be lucky. Every being which exists. And having no fear and trusting, and the things go from alone. Yeah, that was my testimonial. I mean, there are so
Okay.
many things to say. In the last session on Friday, I had that first problem. On the evening before, it was easy for me. I had just the wish that everyone, everything, the whole creation is lucky. And I gave already, I felt it, I laughed without attachments, without resistances. And then I couldn't sleep the whole night because I drank too much coffee. And I thought myself, you idiot, why have you drunk so much coffee? And I was angry on myself. And then the next day, I was tired and I had fear to sleep during the session. That was an attachment, not good. And then in my house was so much voices. And also I said to different people, hey, please, I have my session 1 day per month. Yeah, and they made just noises. And then I was also angry, and I fighted with myself during the session in the first hour, because again and again another thing. But then suddenly I imagined my son, for example, happy. Even he made the noises, and this was then the turning point, because I love him and I want that he is happy. And so this is an easy way to generate this feeling with relatives or with people we love. And then I went to the humanity or to the plants, the animals, and I was able to replicate this love, what I have to my son, to everything else. This is one thing what I use a lot of times, just to let fall my attachments, because this is very important, just to be in the wish of that everyone is lucky, feels good, is healthy, is just lucky. And then this was the first time I connected to the earth like it was my son, and it is nothing different, because it's an entity, a plasmatic entity, an energy pack. And that's what I understood in that moment. And then I went to the moon, because it's something what I know, or also to the Mars. And yeah, I connected as an entity, but I not in a visual way. I mean, of course, from the moon, you know it from pictures, or because you see it, you have a few pictures in your head. But then I also said, yeah, now I would like to connect, or also that other races in the universe are lucky. And the important thing it was that when I started after my son, they had been already all happy. And this happiness was so strong that I got happy. And when I connected, I thought about other races. I have only seen like a little bit dust between planets, but I don't know. The feeling was a different feeling what I haven't known before. And also just lucky. And it was for me just in joy. And then I went into my body, and yeah, I imagined my cells are lucky, but they were already lucky. And I lived this feeling. I just enjoyed that everything is lucky, or my emotions, and I realized that what I experience in the outside, the emotions, what I feel, is directly connected with my inside. And then I saw how I make myself, my life, complicated with a few of these connections which are not in absolutely luck modus. And this was for me a very important point where I understood a few things what Mr. Cash was teaching, and what is the next session about. And I'm interesting what will come new. And what I brought with me back in physicality, for me, when Mr. Cash speaks about transmutation, there is not just only I go from one to B and I transmute. That's a target, but there is only already when we go into this dimension of unconditional love and we forgot the whole physicality and we are in the realm of the emotions and those experiences, and then we come back to physicality, something in the physicality changes. That's also a transmutation. And I realized how this, what I understood in the transmutation, that I brought that with me in the physicality. And this is my way, or others have no cancer, for example, suddenly, or have straight fingers. And there are a lot of testimonials, and we all experience that in different ways. And for me, the way is clear. We ourselves have so much power, that we don't use and need against us anymore, and we don't have to have fear. We just need to trust us, and this will then bring us forward and show us things which are actually easy, but we blocked our own the whole life long. Or how Mr. Cash says, the man is ignorant for it. It's much more easy. I mean, it's said easy, but when you experience those things with the systems, it's really, and you bring more and more in your life back, you transmute something, also the knowledge, and the future will be very different and very much more beautiful that we can imagine, or I can imagine. Just a big gift was what Mr. Cash gave us. Yeah, that was my testimonial. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Yeah, intense in many ways, personal and intense. Anybody else feeling lucky? Well, we've got.
Sorry, Rick, can I say something about growing tomatoes?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, by my experience, and I learn also, I watch many videos, especially when we use plasma water, like CO2 water, more leaves will grow, and this one will draw all the energy from the roots of the plant. And although it looks beautiful, but we have to keep trimming those leaves so we can have better fruits, better tomatoes. And this is they grow really tall, and it's a every week job to trim all those leaves and just to keep the top leaves so it can give some nutrients to the fruits at the bottom. So even when with cucumbers, we have to trim the leaves, the bottom leaves, because bugs will grow and they go back. This year, my cucumbers didn't grow well at all because once they were blooming, then the cold weather was hitting and they couldn't make fruits. But with tomatoes, really they are hardy, and all we have to do is like trim all the leaves so the air can move, especially when it's rain, and after the tomatoes will get damaged if we don't trim the leaves. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Roseanne, for the gardening tip. And speaking of gardening, Gianni had some gardening tips, you could say, as well in our keshe plasma reactor group. So this is part of that conversation. I'd like to play it back, at least parts of it here. And I think it might be kind of long for our show, but he's got some interesting things to say, and the results of the sunflower field as well. So let's listen in on Gianni. I think we have the translation with courtesy of John here as well. Many thanks to John for that. And well, actually, before I begin that, is there anybody else who wanted to say something? This might take 20 minutes or so. Someone had some other testimonial they're holding back on to insert.
Hello.
Now could be a good time. Carson, yes, go ahead.
Yes, hello. I have a little testimony, and I want to show you first a little video I made, and then I can tell a little story which is happening to me. So I have to share the screen.
Yes,
Okay.
I think you should be able to go ahead.
Okay. Here it is. And the audio.
Okay, we see that.
Yes. First, I can explain it's the cards are symbols which are in a set I bought. The symbols are connected to an energy from I don't know the word in English, the Plejaden, the stars. They give us some energy, and I meditate with these cards, and they stand for a special kind of energy for the heart or for the female power and so on and so on, and for healing of the body and the there are, I think, 40 cards inside, and I put some out, and I make made with nano-coated copper coils. So I thought the energy would be bigger. And I put it on a wooden plate, and only for me, I don't want to make a business out of it. It's because of copyright and so on and so on. Only it was a test for me, and I think the energy is bigger, and you feel more. And now I show the video, and where is the sound? I don't find it. I think it must. It would.
You can try and see if
Yes.
there's sound
Okay.
first. Don't hear any sound. So you'll have to.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay. I was going to say you'd have to select it when you go to
No.
share. You have to share sound as well.
Okay, that's it. And then I have to show you some pictures which I made afterwards. I put 3 from these the symbols on my oven I have in my living room. And I have to show it. Now I have to stop the sharing and bring the pictures in. So, a second, please. Okay. So here it is. This is the symbols, and can you see it?
Yes, we see the 5 cards and the 5.
Okay. Then can you see the next picture, or is it still the first?
Still the first.
That's not so fine. Okay. Then I have to stop it once more. So
while Karsten's looking for that picture, take your time, Karsten. I thought that intro video, Rick, was quite appropriate for the new teaching channel on YouTube. That's a bit complementary to the one that you created with the plasmas there. It's very instructive. I thought that's an excellent video to share. Maybe even putting it in the chat here for others to. I don't know if that's available.
Don't have a link for that video, Marcus. Just a video I had. I don't think it'll fit in the chat.
No problem at all.
It's a good idea to put it on the new channel.
Yeah, right next to the one with the plasmas where it shows 2 or 3 interacting, and then that's very instructive. It ends quite abruptly, as you said. It fooled me.
It should be edited to be more graceful at the end. It is very short too. It's only like 3.5 minutes, but it jams a lot into that 3.5 minutes to give a newcomer a pretty concentrated dose.
Exactly.
So now you can
All right,
see.
so yes, we see a new
Yes.
picture.
And that's my oven, and I put 3 of the pictures or the symbols on it. And then something strange happens. At the in the night, the symbols were on the oven for a few hours. I heard a cracking and a very strange sound, and I don't know what it is, like a crunchy sound, something like that. With yeah, I can't explain this sound. I never heard it before, and I went into my living room because the sound come from there, and then I saw something. I have to show the next picture. That is okay. Here it comes. The glass which were under my oven cracked in hundreds of pieces, and the oven and the glass stand there for 5 years, and nothing fell down and nothing happened, and I had a glass on the oven which was much heavier than these 3 symbols, so it can't be the few grams of additional weight, and nothing fell down, and exactly a few hours after it cracked, and it was. I have no other explanation.
Was the oven in use?
No, it's summertime. It is 3 months not used and still not used.
Was the temperature unusually hot or cold?
No, it's very normal. It's
okay. What about the big wooden block? It looks suspiciously sitting on top. Has it always been there?
Always 5 years.
Okay.
There's no changes. And the next thing is I gave infinity loop coil, nano-coated coil, to a friend of mine, and she told me her cooking plate out of glass cracked because she laid the infinity loop next to it, and after a while it cracked. I think perhaps glass, and it's a special kind of glass. It's a stressed glass, which has some in the process of making it has the security glass has stresses in the cooling down phase, and perhaps it get in resonance on a plasmatic level, and it's an additional stress to the glass which blows. I don't know. Maybe it's a total another explanation why it gets damaged, but
well, it's a great observation, and to pay attention to that world, and maybe we'll get more reports of people with glass objects that break next to the to certain configurations.
Because it's out of steel. You see, the black one is steel, and it's a good connector, or perhaps a multiplicator for the energy. Yeah.
Is this a type of tempered glass? Is that what you were referring to? Because when the car window breaks, I think that's tempered as well. It shatters into so many hundreds of pieces. Well, the corporations were even able to build in obsolescence into their glass products, Rick. No, of course not. where it just self-destructs after so long. No, obviously very interesting of what happened here.
But I think it's only the certain kind of glass, the normal glass where you drink off, or where you have your water in or something. It's normal glass and nothing happens. But this kind of glass and the glass of the cooking field is a special kind of glass. And perhaps there is a frequency. It's my normal knowledge. It's not a scientific knowledge, but I think the common thing of both stories is that the glass is a special kind of glass.
Mhm. For example, laboratory glass, which is very, very hard to break, is borosilicate. So it's got boron in it. And that, maybe there's some sort of resonance or activation of the boron, as it's got some plasmatic qualities, you could say, and has uses in reactors as well. So who knows? It's be good to research it somehow. I'm not sure how one would do that without some very sophisticated equipment, or lots of pieces of tempered glass and a bunch of GANs setups to see what happens. Wow,
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
I would definitely say it's connected to those pieces he put on top somehow, whether they're pulling energy through, up, or something has changed there for sure. But there were no little earthquakes or tremors or any sort of
I spoke to a lot of people, and everyone said it can only be related to the three symbols, because nothing changed for weeks, or in the temperature, in the moisture of the air, and
the only unknown factor that comes to mind for me is a word called cat. I'm wondering if a cat might have been involved and knocked something off that might
no,
have
we
broken
don't
it,
have
or...
any pets here.
Yeah, okay. Huh.
Yeah, okay, it's only for thinking. Perhaps someone has an idea what can be the reason. Perhaps someone has always also something with glass and nano-coated copper, and he can.
right.
Maybe the gravitational pull has changed, or the heat has gone down to the bottom of that heater you have.
No, it's we have summer, and the oven is
It wasn't lit.
Is off for 3 months. Or 5, no, longer, 4 or 5 months. It is cool.
Yep, that's a strange one.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone reporting anything like this, but maybe people have had experiences. I'm glad it's not a mirror.
It's a good advice. Don't put the infinities near the crystals on your car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was my testimonial. And another one, a little one, a lucky one. I have a friend. He's 64 years old and has problems with his hip, and I gave him 2 self-made paint pens with a middle pin and 3 coils around, always in the same turning direction. And I gave him and said how to use it. And now he was in a vacation and came back and said all pain is gone. And he don't know anything about plasma technology. And I told him, use it this way, and that's it. And he didn't know anything, and yeah, and he came back and said it's wonderful. I don't have pain anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Has he expressed an interest in plasma technology now?
Yes, yes. He's he's now retired and is an electrician, and he's interested now. What's the plasma technology is all about?
Very
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and stop sharing.
All right, lovely. Thank you, Carsten.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else would like to inject something at this point, or shall we move to Gianni's little presentation? We also have another presentation with Nick that we need to have a look at here.
Sorry, Rick, so for interrupt you. Johnny need a translation or not?
No, Gianni's already, this is from the plasma reactor group, and it's pre-recorded. And we have John Wells, I think, translated for him.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you.
I have a little story to tell.
Okay.
This is Erm.
Is that yes, hi Erm.
Yeah. I have been working with Mr. Kern, Dr. Kern, about my memory issues, and they are significantly improved. It used to be that I had to ask my husband many times a day, where are my keys, where are my glasses, where's my ID, where's whatever else. And like maybe 10 times a day at least. And I have not asked him now probably in at least a couple of months. Before that, it was a daily occurrence of many times. So that has improved a lot. There's still some other things that need to go that concern my head, but this part is much relieved. And I actually got him to acknowledge that there is something to the technology, because he was no longer being constantly bugged by me about helping find stuff. So that's one thing. Another thing, and I don't know what this means. I've been in meetings or the Friday meetings. I don't now see now I don't remember. After the Dr. Kern meetings, I think it was, I would, like on Tuesday, I would have a meeting, and then immediately thereafter, I switched over to the One Nation, One whatever all the ones are. And while I was awake during Dr. Kern's session, I immediately fell asleep in the next part, and I had a dreamlike state that was like a direct transition into a place where I was somewhere outside, outdoors, or first at indoors and then outdoors, and it was like a big keshe meeting with somebody talking in front, and I was in the back, and there was another person in the back that I talked to, and he offered to give me a ride home after the meeting. And so after the meeting, we went to what was supposed to be my house, which I didn't recognize. And we both laid outside on the deck, on the wooden deck, each of us with their headsets on, just like before, same headsets I had on during Dr. Kern's session, and now during my dream. And then while we were out there, I heard somebody breaking into the house. And that probably connected to some kind of TV show that I watched the night before, or something. But anyway, the robbers, they wanted to take stuff and wanted to kidnap me. And so I told him, you can take anything you want and you can take me as long as I get to continue listening to my headset. I was very surprised at my own response. And so then they proceeded and took me along. And then as we were traveling somewhere, they must have been affected by what they heard, because they became calmer and quieter and more loving and kind. And then I heard one of the people from the class, the last person that talked, and then that was sort of half in a dream. And then it was Rick saying, this is the end of the session. And then it was like 2 hours later, 2 hours or more after my session with Mr. Kern. So it was sort of a very weird thing. And I don't know if this is what transmutation is like anyway, but I did move around between different forms of reality very vividly and very meaningfully. The only thing consistent was that when I did wake up, I still had my headset on. So I had it on from the Dr. Kern session through the dream, through the different parts of the dream, to after the dream, back in reality. So that was my experience.
It does sound like a transmutation experience.
It could be. Yeah, that's all.
Lovely. Thank you, Herm. Yeah. Sometimes we get more in our dream state than in our reality, so-called reality state. Perhaps we have it switched around. We should be dreamers. I think there's a song about that in the old days. All right, well, let's, anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about at this point? Okay, I'm going to launch it.
Ricky, hi, it's Dean. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hi, Dean.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Rick. I can give a little testimonial, a sort of follow-on from a testimonial that I've given before from Mr. Keshe, and using something that he prepared that was the knee GANs. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, we had a testimonial earlier about the knee GANs and being very effective.
Very, very effective. So sorry, I've only just come in, so I didn't hear that testimonial. So I can give a small testimonial for a follow-up to that if you'd like.
Sure, absolutely. Please go ahead.
So this was about I can't remember exactly how long ago it was that I had started using the knee GANs that Mr. Keshe developed. However, I applied it exactly as the foundation said, and it was put on the labels and things. And I went through the process of putting the plasma waters or the GANs and the plasma water of it onto certain materials, and then placing it around the knee. And this was, as I said, a little while ago. And then I went through various stages where the knee seemed like it was regenerating or removing. The knee itself seemed to be reconfiguring itself. And sometimes I had a little bit of discomfort and sometimes not when I was walking. But one thing I did have when I first, before all this started, is I was climbing up very rugged landscapes, mountains. And I was finding not just mountains, normal everyday life, climbing up the stairs and things like this. My knee used to click quite badly. And this all started from a position of playing football many, many years ago, which would be soccer in the United States. And anyway, so I had this problem I had for a long time, and it was progressively getting worse as I got older, and I noticed it. And then Mr. Keshe came along and brought this knee GANS forward. And so I applied the knee GANS. And so the update is that, I don't know, about 6 months to 8 months, 9 months ago, I was finding it extremely difficult to even walk up the stairs. Just in the last 3 weeks or so, I've climbed a few mountains, not physically climbing as in like people think with ropes and things, not this sort of climbing, but there are some very steep hill climbs here and mountains where it is a very, quite a severe gradient. And you definitely, and there's a lot of steps and it's very uneven ground. There's lots and lots of rocks and lots of, it's certainly not man-made prepared stairs. It's Mother Earth and it is cut from the stone and it's pathways up the mountain. And in some places it's very, very steep. And anyway, I managed to climb up these mountains and back down. So there's one problem going up where my knee used to click, but coming back down used to jar my knee in a different position. And I find that very, very difficult to do. But I can actually say now that I wasn't thinking about it this time. I just thought, let's go. And I had no pain and I didn't even think about my knee at the time. And then a few days later, I might get a little bit of discomfort sometimes, but it was very, very minimal. However, the GANS itself is definitely reconstructed the ligaments, or it seems to be, and the whole structure of my knee. Now, before this, I've spoken with many people. I'm not saying this medically, or I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying anything like this. But many people who've had reconstructive surgery on their knees were all saying they had conditions that were similar or less than I had. And I've never gone to have my knee reconstructed. I literally just put on this knee GANS, and as I said, the ligaments have I don't know how the right word, that reconstructed themselves. They have realigned my knee and the socket of my knee so that it's more like it's back to normal. Very, very close to being exactly 100%. And for me, without having to go through all the hassles of going through, going to a surgeon and blah, 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 I haven't had to do that. So for me, this is a very big beneficial plus to be able to gain something that I thought I was going to, suffer from for the rest of my life. And now I find I'm in a position where it's back to normal. And it's funny how once things become back to normal, you don't think about them. It's not until you get an injury or you get something that is very a lot of discomfort for yourself that you think about it all the time. It's in the background and it's constantly with you. But the moment the emotion or the pain goes, you don't think about it anymore. Then you can that part of your condition, you just let go, and then it becomes, an easier transitional step for you to be present once more. And that's what I found, that with this knee GANS, it has, as I said, completely changed the ability of me as an older gentleman now to actually be able to walk very well. And as I said, to climb very steep gradients and very different surfaces that even, the most people, no matter how athletic you would be, you would need a certain amount of coordination and ability to be able to do this. And the Keshe knee GANS is for me, the way I used it is exactly as I said that was written on the back of the product. It's done the most incredible job, and for me, it's that part of my life has changed completely, and I'm very, very, very grateful to the foundation of Mr. Keshe for making this available. So that was it. Thank you, Rick. I don't know if there's any questions.
Good one. Thanks, Dean. I know I've suffered a lot through my life with knee problems. When I was tackled when I was about 15 years old, I guess, playing football It was supposed to be touch football, but this over enthusiastic kid tackled me and twisted my knee when I went down, and had a lot of grief from that, and it's still weak in my life, but I go through ups and downs with that. So good to know the knee GANs is successful in that.
Yeah, very much so. And that what you just said there, Rick, is from what I've experienced, football is very stressful on the body, particularly the knees. And I know a lot of professional players and things who suffer very much as they get older. I've seen some old, not so much now. I think the techniques are better, but I've seen some some older footballers who all suffer very, very bad, very much with their knees and their joints, where their body has been so contorted when they were playing these sports. So I think it would be a big thing. It would help many people in many situations, not just sport, but in many things. So yeah, it's a very, very, very worthwhile. I would recommend it if you can still get if you can still buy it from the shop. I would very much say try this before you go and try any other form of trying to reconstruct your knees.
Seems to be available. It's rather expensive at €500 plus VAT and all that, but
compared to having the problem with,
so is knee surgery. It's not only
exactly.
expensive, but the expense is in the recovery, which is not instantaneous, although they get you walking almost right away, but you also go through a lot of physio and other painful experiences. Not every knee surgery is successful as well, so to take that into account. But for those that need the surgery, we should recommend to go to your medical doctor if necessary. We don't want you to be putting off surgery if you already got that all scheduled in according to our specifications on YouTube. You cannot claim to have certain health claims without also offering the alternative of the mainstream medical opinion as well. So I'm throwing that in there just because as a disclaimer, because actually this testimonial meeting will be going on YouTube as well. So as have the last 50 testimonial meetings, I've posted them to YouTube, and they're now publicly available along with the first 50 or so videos that were already on the Keshe Foundation original YouTube channel. So I'll be posting this tomorrow probably.
Rick, may I just add a little bit more? I without trying to, I certainly don't want to cause any problems for the foundation or anything like this. It's with all surgeries or any medical procedure of like this, it's all very much what you believe, and some people believe in the in a certain procedure, surgical way, and that will work for them. And there's another alternative here. So it depends on what you believe and what you have, installed within with your emotions that are present within you and what you've come to know. This is a very beautiful product that is non-invasive. It's field interactions. So it's not actually penetrating the body, as in cutting the body open. You are applying waters onto a bandage and wrapping it around your knee in certain positions with a certain amount of plasma water. It's completely different. So it's certainly for the price of 500, it may seem a lot, but as you've just said, this is incredibly cheap, because the surgery alone, it costs thousands and thousands. And then the aftercare costs thousands and thousands. And with this, I didn't need any of this. So the choice is yours. Thank you, Rick. Thank you very much.
Right on. Maybe you could give another testimonial next month if your knees hangs in and continues to be stable in that regard. Or you might forget about it. That's the other problem. You forget to do the testimonial because when your knee doesn't hurt, you forget about it, just like you said. And I find that too with many aches and pains I have. If I can just forget about them, it's often they go away. But especially the older I get, the more forgetful I get. Then I forget about my aches and pains. I can't keep track of them. So I just say, forget it. And they go away on their own. So it's a new technique I use, deliberate forgetting of all the aches and pains.
This is the way to do it. When I had the problem before I had the knee GANs, the only way I could stop my, so that I could actually walk sometimes in upstairs and things, I had to concentrate instead of on the pain. I used to concentrate on the leg that was okay. And so I would think about the leg that was good, and the one that was bad, I would, when I put my leg down that was painful, I was thinking about the other knee that was perfectly okay. And then that seemed to transfer some energy that I was able to communicate across, and I was able to do a little bit more energy wise. That was the way I overcome it anyway. So yeah, it's exactly what you said. It's an emotion, and I've noticed that even now with the knee GANs, if I think about, and if I put my attention onto the knee and I think, oh, it's okay. The moment I think about it, there's an emotional attachment that makes the knee think, you remember me. And then something happens. So it's all to do with emotion and how we trigger ourselves with something that has occurred in our lives. Well, it seems to me anyway.
Sometimes our body parts are just trying to get our attention, Pay your attention to me, the knee. I'm the most important body part. I'm going to cause you pain if you don't say hello to me and recognize me,
Very much so. Very
But
much so.
yeah, often we have previous trauma to work through as well, which the GANs is good for. It's all about the balance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Rick. I'll leave it there, and so we can get on with Gianni, because I know Gianni has some very interesting things to listen to. Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. All right.
Before we go to Gianni's experience, could I say something about that shattered glass, that tempered glass that was shattered? That I know that only, other than a big hammer, only a sudden temperature change would cause that. And if we put a Pyrex from freezer to a hot oven, or vice versa, from when it's hot, we put in a cold water, it will shatter the glass. So maybe that infinity loop has to do something with that. So it caused that breakage like that. That's all.
Yes, hard to imagine, but it's something going, some kind of connection there, it seems.
Yeah, a sudden temperature change would cause that.
That's why I asked whether there's a sudden temperature change, and there wasn't any at all. So it's in the summer.
No, not that we did. Infinity Loop did that. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Especially like the tempered glass on top of the stove. Maybe it's a sudden temperature change. It's not a gradual one. So they may try with that to see how it works, how it caused that thing. So that's all I was thinking about. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, now we're going to play Gianni's little excerpt here.
You realize Gianni just joined us about 10 minutes or so ago?
No, I didn't know that. Thank you. Hi, Gianni. Do you have something new you'd like to present, Gianni? Should I play what you presented in the Keshe plasma reactor group? That's what I was going to play. He may need a translation. Is John still out? John, can you?
We have two. We have Lisbeth and we have John.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Johnny.
Lisbeth, please help me.
I'm here present, but I'm rinsing bottles. So if you
Okay.
really need me, just give me a shout. Pégame un grito si necesitas de mí.
Okay. Thank you, John.
So should I should I play the video, or is there something new that Johnny would like to show?
Maybe play the video, Rick, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see here. Sure, I'm sharing proper.
As you can see, Jan is learning English also.
Yes, I noticed that complete perfect sentence there. Okay, here we go. Oops, I think we got promoted to panelist.
B boxes.
I'm hoping you might help. Trying to zero in here. It's somewhere right around here. Just might take a few seconds to come through.
¿Me escuchas bien, John?
Sí, sí, perfecto.
Ok. Vamos a compartir la pantalla.
I said, I'm glad I just prepared a new green tea. So I'll be John's water, hand.
The famous mate.
Yep, exactly, the green tea. I call it green tea for you because you may not know. You know what mate is.
Aquí vamos a empezar con esta foto con los 4 ganses de base.
Here we'll start with the first 4 basic ganses.
Porque es lo que utilizamos en todos los experimentos.
This is what we utilize in all our experiments.
Y también hacemos otro tipo de ganses.
We also do some other type of ganses.
Aquí en la imagen tenemos el gas de CO2, formación de estrellas con 4 sales.
Here we have CO2 gas in a star formation with different salts.
Sí, y también tenemos que compartir el experimento que hemos hecho con las abejas.
Here we'll share the experiments done with the bees.
Porque que vamos a ver en adelante es la primera caja para las abejas que está nanocubierta completamente.
Here we show the first experiment we did with the bee boxes being nano-coated completely.
Y aquí en el vídeo se va a ver cómo recogemos las abejas.
And we show you how we what you mean, harvest the bees.
El video ya lo tiene Rick, pero no pudo entrar porque hemos andado en sitios sin internet.
Video, this video apparently Rick has it because where he's been working, he hasn't had access to internet.
Aquí mostramos cómo se hace todo. Eso es las abejas que le vamos a meter en la caja plasmática. Y
Here
aquí
you can see the bees up on a tree and a sort of a monkey going up on a tree. That's Jan.
sí, aquí como se puede ver en las imágenes, toda la casita está nano cubierta completamente.
Here you can see the bees box or house is completely nano coated.
Aquí ya han pasado 2 meses de cuando se ha hecho eso y a las colmenas le va de maravilla.
This happened. The harvesting happened two months ago, and the bees are working in their box perfect.
Hemos cubierto otras 6 casitas que se han ido en sitios de Rumanía diferentes para confirmar el experimento.
We have produced 6 other boxes which have gone to other places in Romania to complete the experiment.
Sí, y en Claro se trabaja solo con plasma sin necesidad de utilizar otros productos químicos o de cualquier tipo.
And we work exclusively with plasma, not utilizing any other type of chemicals in these special boxes.
Aquí abrimos la caja después de una semana.
Here we're opening a box after a week.
Y aquí se puede ver, a las abejas le encantó la casita.
Here you can see the bees love their new home.
Un poquito más adelante vamos a ver también la reina.
In a while we'll see the queen.
Aquí el nano cubrimiento para la madera, porque la caja es de madera, lo hemos hecho con rociando con plasma y
The
después con
box,
fuego.
the box, as you can see, is all covered in nano coating. This was treated first with plasma water and then with fire.
Y después hemos preparado una crema con cera de abejas y plasma.
And then we've produced a cream with beeswax and plasma water.
Y que hemos diluido todo en lo que se llama la esencia de trebentina.
Repetime eso, que no, la verdad que no, nunca escuché eso.
Hemos diluido todo con una esencia de resina de abeto, que se llama también trebentina.
Sí. And then we also diluted the beeswax with trementine taken from plants.
Sí, y aquí después de hacer con eso, ya hemos rociado otra vez con plasma de CO2 ZNO por dentro.
And after that, we have sprayed the whole thing with the basic plasma, CO2 and zinc oxide.
Eso es la primera casita para las abejas que está totalmente nanocubierta con nanoplantas y plasma.
This is the first box we produced completely covered with plasma energy from CO2, zinc oxide, the trementine, the whole process.
Aquí se puede ver la reina, eso es la reina de la colmena.
Here you can see the queen.
Y está deponiendo huevos para la nueva familia.
She's continually producing eggs for the new family.
Es maravilloso que pasó ese año con el experimento con las abejas.
This was a marvelous job with this experiment we've done with these bees this year.
Se ha visto muy claro que utilizando el plasma ya la colmena va en el equilibrio.
¿Va en qué?
En el equilibrio y no necesita químicos.
Here we can see that the beehive is working perfectly and it doesn't need any chemicals for being in equilibrium.
Pero lo más importante va a ser esta invierno.
And the most important thing is what we'll experiment during winter.
Porque así vamos a ver cómo van a pasar las abejas en el invierno.
We will be able to see how they survive and live through winter.
Y lo que podemos ver en la imagen aquí es una mezcla de miel con aquaplasma y hierbas para alimentar las abejas.
And here you can see us pouring a mixture of bee honey, the good honey mixed with Gans water and what do you call it? Powder made out of different plants.
Sí, y eso los que utilizan químicos para las abejas hacen una mezcla de azúcar, pero las abejas no le encanta mucho eso.
And what we don't do is what the harvesters normally do is give them a mixture with sugar, which is not appreciated by the bees.
Sí, la diferencia ya hemos visto.
We have already seen the big difference.
Porque hemos recogido de una colmena 21 kilos de miel.
Here you can see we have harvested 21 kilograms of honey from one beehive.
Aquí ese año fue en esta parte de Rumanía sin lluvia.
We haven't had any rain, normal rain here in Romania this year. Very scarce water.
Los otros apicultores han recogido como 10 kilos por colmena como mucho.
And other apicultures around this place have only managed to harvest 10 kilograms of honey from the beehive.
Pues
Big
sí, eso va a cambiar el mundo de los apicultores.
This will certainly change the life of the bee harvesters.
Y eso porque los costos para el tratamiento plasmático es muy pequeño.
This is starting in a very small scale, but this will continue spreading.
Son muchos que están, esperan para ver ese experimento y aplicarlo.
A lot of harvesters are watching us doing this experiment, and they hope to learn how to produce more honey.
Sí, y lo que es más importante, las abejas son felices y regalan más miel.
The most important thing is the bees are very happy, and they give us much more quantity of honey.
Y los apicultores van a tener menos trabajo.
And harvesters will have less of a job to produce more honey.
Y claro, no van a necesitar tratamientos medicamentosos porque ya no lo necesitan.
And they will not need any medical treatment on their bees because the bees are happy and have no health problems.
Ok, eso fue con lo de las abejas. Otra cosa que hemos hecho campamentos en la montaña.
This is what I've shown you is all about the bees, but we will also have done a few campsites on the mountains.
Y aquí el campamento es del acero.
¿Es de qué?
Campamento se llama campamento del acero.
Uh-huh.
Porque
And
empezamos
here,
todo de cero.
de cero, no acero. Yo entendí acero. Here we showing you an encampment which we started from zero.
Hemos ido con tiendas de campañas, nosotros hemos llevado también la secadora para frutas, plantas, verduras y para mostrar cómo se puede vivir en la montaña, en el bosque, sin necesitar muchas cosas.
The idea here was to live in our tents, and we've got fruit dryers, and to show the people they can live up in the mountain with practically no other resources brought up to the mountain.
Lo que hemos hecho, hemos buscado un sitio para agua.
We have looked for a water fountain to treat it with plasma, I imagine.
Sí, y aquí en la zona han secado muchos ríos.
Here in this zone, many a river have been dried up.
Así que aquí encontramos un pozo viejo que está lleno con todo tipo de hojas de árboles, de piedras, barro.
Here we have found a or sort of natural well full of dead leaves, stones, and mud and whatever.
Y el agua no se podía beber porque tenía un gusto horrible.
And we couldn't drink this water because it had a horrible taste
También el olor.
and smell.
Así que lo que hemos hecho, hemos limpiado todo.
So what we have done is we cleaned this small well.
Y eso hemos limpiado cuando hemos encontrado la piedra y después hemos puesto el plasma.
We have gone down to the rock, as you can see, sort of cleaned it all out and then treated it all with plasma.
Aquí hemos utilizado para reestructurar el agua el gas de CO2 ZNO.
Here we've treated this well with the basics, GANS water, GANS and GANS waters, be it CO2 and zinc oxide.
Sí, y después hemos puesto un tanque de 1000 litros
And
para
as you can
colectar
see,
el agua.
we have put a 1,000-liter tank to harvest the water.
Y claro, con un tubo fue muy sencillo para llevar agua al tanque.
And with a hose, it was very easy to take the clean water from the well to the container.
El agua ya está casi limpia.
As you can see, the water is practically clean here.
Así lo vamos a ver más adelante. Lo que es maravilloso es que para reestructurar el agua hemos necesitado solo un día.
And here we can add that it's only taken us one day to do all this process of producing clear water.
Sí, y eso porque hemos preparado las bobinas para preparar el CO2.
We have already prepared these coils to produce the gases.
Y lo más importante, lo hemos hecho juntos con mucha gente que han hecho lo mismo en su casa.
And a lot of people have already learned how to do this at their homes.
Hemos hecho todo el procedimiento con nanocobertura con fuego y también con sosa cáustica.
We have done different ways of doing the coils with fire and with caustic soda.
Pero aquí hemos utilizado el nanocubrimiento con fuego porque hemos tenido la necesidad de hacerlo rápidamente.
Here we only use fire coating because it's much faster to produce the coils for the production of gases.
Lo maravilloso es que los que han participado aquí se han hecho sus bobinas y han hecho sus ganses en su casa.
And all the people that you can see here, they've constructed their own coils and they've produced the gases at their own homes.
Porque la mayoría de ellos tenían problemas con el agua en sus pozos.
Previously, all these people had problems with their house wells, the waters, whatever.
Y se necesita muy poco para obtener los 4 ganses de base.
And it's you need very little to produce the 4 basic ganses, the basic ganses.
Sí,
You can see here.
con ese tipo de bobinas vale como 20 euros.
And to produce these coils, you spend about 20 euros.
Sí, y con 20 euros puedes producir los 4 reactores y te valen la plasma para más de 300 hectáreas de tierra.
With this investment, you could do the 4 coils to produce the 4 different basic gases to be able to clean the water, the earth around you.
También con los participantes nos hemos acostumbrado a sentir los campos.
We have also taught them how to feel the feels of these coils.
Porque lo más importante es comprender que estamos trabajando con campos de plasma.
Because the most important thing is they have to learn how to work with the fields of this production of different fields. Let's
Sí,
put it this way.
nosotros tenemos todos dentro la calidad de sentir estos campos, pero no muchos nos hemos olvidado de eso.
Many of us can feel the fields, but others have lost their knack of doing this, but they're recuperating by teaching them how to feel the fields
Y
of energy.
aquí en el bosque es mucho mejor, en la naturaleza es mucho mejor sentir esos campos.
And here in in nature, up in the mountain, is much easier to feel all these different fields.
Y eso fue posible también porque no tenía nada de electricidad y de móviles, de redes, de internet.
And this is much easier because you have no access to electricity, wire lines, or internet.
Y eso porque estamos construyendo de cero.
We're constructing all this from zero, back in the wilds.
Así que todos estuvimos con la atención, intención, emoción aquí en el campamento y en todo lo que hemos hecho.
Here you can see we're all paying attention to all these exercises to learn about all this production.
Le encantaron, estuvimos todos juntos para mirar cómo se está creando el gas.
Here you can see how everybody's watching how we started producing the different ganses.
Y es maravilloso que pasa cuando estamos juntos haciendo eso.
And it's a marvelous feeling to see how the people start learning all about this fantastic experience.
Y después lo magnífico fue cuando hemos regalado el gas, el plasma en el agua a todos.
And then you could see how we spread or poured the different ganses into the water.
Aquí en la zona no tuvimos lluvia de dos meses y medio.
In this section, we haven't had rainfall for 2.5 months.
Y cuando hemos puesto el gas en el agua, ya empezó del día siguiente a sentirse.
And when we spread the ganses here in this natural place, we could feel the difference after a day and a half.
El aire el aire no parecía tan seco.
The air didn't feel as dry.
Y empezaron a aparecer muchos pájaros en la zona.
And a lot of birds started appearing in the zone.
Y claro, de aquí eso se va abajo en el río a unos kilómetros de aquí y va a limpiar
And
todo.
when the water from this well spreads along a small river, you can see this changes the whole zone.
Y ese pozo es como un generador de campos.
And this small well is like a field generator.
Y también es el agua que se va a tomar de aquí en adelante en la zona.
And this will change the water that will be drank in the zone.
Los compañeros han preparado otros dos, han limpiado otros dos pozos viejos.
And the people here have already recovered 2 other small wells.
Donde han hecho lo mismo que como se puede ver en el video.
Which they've done the work they learned here and done the same job we've done here, as you could see.
Y es muy, muy importante hacerlo juntos.
And it's very important for us to do it all together, to learn from each other.
Y claro, fue maravilloso porque se ha visto como agua sucia se puede limpiar muy, muy sencillo y en pocas horas.
And it's beautiful to see how you could clean the water in a few hours doing all this process.
Y además de eso, también fue el agua con que hemos hecho la limpieza de la ropa, la ducha.
And all this water has been used for washing our clothes, our showers, and also drinking. This changes the whole feeling of the zone.
También con la misma agua hemos preparado la comida.
We've also prepared different meals with this water.
Y ya como es, también hemos rociado en la zona el aire muy, muy respirable.
And as we've been spraying the GANS water all over the place, the air we are breathing has changed completely.
Y fuera del campamento hacía más calor.
Yeah, around, far from this encampment, the air was much hotter. The
Sí,
GANS water sort of not freezes, but brings the temperature down.
Sí, la temperatura es diferente. Y
See, the temperature is pretty much different.
sí, y eso también se nota en los campos donde se utiliza el plasma.
And we can also feel this feeling wherever we use the plasma water in the different fields where we are sowing seeds.
Eso me ha pasado aquí en un cultivo de girasol.
Here you could see this also happened here, where you could see the production of sunflower.
Eso en la finca donde se trabaja 300 hectáreas y todo con plasma.
This is all in a place where we're producing different elements on a 300-hectare zone.
Y la temperatura en ese día fue unos 40 grados, pero dentro del cultivo de girasol no se sentía esa temperatura.
What we're showing here is a day where we had 40 degrees centigrade temperature, and here in between the plants, walking through the sunflower production, you didn't feel that hot impression.
Y se puede ver el color verde vivo y eso vamos en adelante como parece la otra.
and you could appreciate the way the plants are in a very happy mode with a green color.
Sí, aquí cuando hemos pasado, el sentimiento que hemos vivido fue de felicidad.
And the feeling you receive when you walk through these sunflower fields is happiness.
Como has visto, la flor de girasol son grandes, muy grandes.
As you can see, the sunflowers are enormous, beautiful and big sunflowers.
Sí, y lo que eso fueron sembradas al principio de junio.
These were were the seeds were planted in first days of June.
Eso significa que en 3 meses ya se han hecho así.
So what you're appreciating here is they're only 3 months old.
Y lo que es maravilloso es que las hierbas no han salido para, como parece a los que utilizan los químicos, lo que llaman hierba mala no han salido aquí.
And what you can see here is you don't have any external weeds or bad plants which would affect the sunflower. The ganses keep a sort of a very interesting, good feeling for the sunflowers and won't let the other strange plants grow here.
Lo que hemos hecho aquí, lo que ha hecho Laurencio y Mijaela, rociando la tierra con plasma CO2 ZNO-CH3.
What Lawrence here has done is spraying all the place with the zinc waters, the plasma waters, continually.
Después plasmatizar las semillas de girasol.
And also spraying the different sunflowers with the plasma water.
Siempre antes de sembrarla, estamos plasmatizando las semillas.
And we're also processing the different seeds before planting with GANS waters.
Y después de sembrarla, solo una vez ha rociado con aquaplasma.
And once they were sown, these seeds, we have only sprayed GANS waters once.
Ahora podéis ver cómo va un campo de girasol donde se trabaja con químicos.
And here you can appreciate where we went to a place where they use chemicals to help the production of sunflowers, and it's completely different.
Lo que percibí aquí fue muy tristeza, así que tuve que irme deprisa.
When
Mucha
I went
tristeza
to
y
see this
sufrimiento.
place, it was sort of so distressed I had to leave the place immediately.
La tierra aquí está muy seca
The earth here is very dry and dead.
y la diferencia ya se puede ver. Las imágenes hablan por sí mismas.
You can appreciate the big difference. The images, the correct feeling.
Ok,
Gianni,
aquí
yo puedo agregar que yo ya hace más de 8 años que estoy también haciendo esto y con la gente que ha seguido mi ejemplo de producir todo esto, han tenido una producción de yerba mate y de té muy distinta. I'm telling Gianni that I've had the same effect here for the last 8 years with the people I've worked with ganses in their fields, especially in the tea and mate. They have had a very big difference in the production.
sí, aquí un tipo de maíz blanco muy viejo.
Here you can see the difference in the white corn. The yellow one is sort of pretty old, and the white one is a new one.
John, ese tipo de maíz se utilizaba en vez de utilizar el arroz.
They used to produce this corn to replace the rice.
También todo es maravilloso, verde y con poca lluvia.
And this production is beautiful, although there's been a shortage of water lately.
Eso es la diferencia. En todos los campos donde se trabaja con plasma no hay problemas si hay lluvia o no.
And we have seen this wherever we use the plasma, there's no problem of the green production, even when there's a shortage of water.
Y también en la zona donde ha llovido mucho está el equilibrio y también hay resultados maravillosos.
And the zones where we had too much rain, the same effect has been observed.
Aquí es otro cultivo con plasma. Aquí ha salido el girasol que tiene como 30 centímetros de diámetro.
Here you can see a beautiful sunflower, which has about a foot in diameter.
De esas plantas se utiliza las semillas.
Yeah, from these plants we use the seeds.
Se llama sorg.
Ese es el sorgo, sí, pero ¿qué tiene que ver con el mirasol
Eh,
o girasol?
no,
El
no,
sorgo es sorgo,
no,
¿no?
es otro cultivo, otra
Claro,
planta.
sí. This is what we're showing here is sorghum.
Lo, lo que han visto han dicho que no es posible así, sin
The,
químicos.
the people that have seen this say this is impossible without using any chemical.
Y claro, han percibido ellos también, porque estuvimos muchos para visitar los campos, y han sentido la diferencia del aire cuando estás dentro del campo donde se utiliza plasma de como los otros.
These people can perceive the difference of the air and the sensation when you're walking through the fields.
Aquí otro tipo de maíz.
This is another type of corn.
Maravilloso porque podemos experimentar con plasma aquí y estamos utilizándolo en todo y para todo.
Yeah, here we can experiment with the different plasmas and the different harvests, so we can see the big difference produced by these fields.
Ok, eso es el domo que ya sabéis de él.
This is the domes we have been erecting here in the zone.
Todo está plasmatizado aquí.
All this is plasmatized. The wood has been treated with fire and the gas waters.
Falta poco para terminarlo.
We're needing a very short time to finish this lovely dome.
Y eso creo que va a ser finalizado en el mes de octubre.
I hope to finish this dome in the month of October.
Que hace falta es poner por dentro el plástico. Ahora está solo por fuera.
Our intention is to put the plastic covering inside. For now, we only have it covered from outside.
Es hacer el mismo principio como la piel, 3 capas.
The idea is to have 3 different layers of covering, just like skin has with the 3 different covers.
Sí. Pero lo maravilloso es cómo se sienten las plantas, los árboles cerca del domo, es maravilloso.
And here you can appreciate the difference. The plants around the dome change entirely. Their reaction is beautiful.
Han hecho una cantidad impresionante de manzana.
The amount of apples they produce is incredible.
Ok, esos son los politos plasmáticos, la primera generación.
This is the first generation of the plasma chicks which have been produced.
Y ahora ya son más grandes. Eso fue hecho hace un mes y medio.
This is about a month and a half ago, and now they're growing up.
Porque ya empezaron a regalar huevos.
They're now producing beautiful eggs.
La comida que toman y el agua, todo es plasmatizado.
The fodder and the water is all treated with plasma waters.
Y también no se ha necesitado nada de medicinas y nada de problemas con las gallinas.
And we haven't had no problems with illnesses, so we have not used any chemicals or remedies to treat them with.
Ok, aquí un experimento con las bobinas que cuando le hemos nanocubierto le hemos puesto en el centro del domo.
Here's a small experiment we're doing with the different coils which have been nano-coated and put them in the center of the dome to see what happens.
Y claro que se han hecho más deprisa y muy hermosas en la diferencia de las otras.
And there's a big difference you can see or appreciate in the coils. When this is done, there's a big difference.
Lo mismo.
They look much darker, don't they?
Son muy hermosas y han producido un gas muy hermoso, muy potente.
And the production of ganses with these coils is fantastic.
También hemos hecho una visita en el laboratorio donde empezó todo.
And we have also been to visit the laboratory where we started all this production
Y aquí la
and
gente,
teaching.
sí, haciendo como siempre, compartir nuestra experiencia.
Here you can see the way we share all this knowledge.
Hemos comprobado que sí funciona todo normal y nosotros aquí hemos pasado solo 1 o 2 veces al año en los últimos años.
And here we come along about twice a year to show the people how to produce these different effects in the fields. La verdad que son hermosas esas bobinas.
Sí, y aquí una foto con qué se ve en la imagen. ¿Cómo se llama en español, John?
Araña.
Araña, sí. Y su tela.
Here you can see a beautiful spider web with its little spider in the center.
Sí, y es muy curioso cómo lo hacen porque empieza a hacerlo aquí en el sentido a la derecha y después lo hace del exterior a interior al revés del sentido del reloj.
Here we can see the center part, which is dark, is done from the center outwards on the right-handed clockwise spiral. And then they start from the outside towards the inside with an anti-clockwise spiral.
He aprendido mucho de ellos, utilizar el
I have
sentido.
learned a lot from all this.
Ok, eso cuando regalamos el GANS en el Danubio, el más grande río de Rumanía.
Here you could see with the way we have given away a lot of ganses to the Danube River here, which is the biggest river here in Romania.
Sí, y aquí otra vez en la finca de los 300 hectáreas, preparando otras bobinas en el medio cáustico.
And here you can see us producing different ganses, different coils in the original 300-hectare place.
Y aquí la última generación de polios plasmáticos que están aquí en la finca.
And here you can appreciate the last generation of our chicks.
Aquí donde se prepara también la comida plasmática para ellos.
Here we also produce a plasmatized fodder for the chicks.
Aquí en la finca hemos puesto los ganses en los 4 pozos que hay, así que toman aquaplasma.
We have also put different ganses in the 4 wells they use here to produce the water for all the harvesting and the production of animals.
Y aquí en la zona nadie no necesita químicos o medicamentos.
Here nobody needs any medicine or any production of chemistry to treat the different animals and plants. Everybody lives in a happy mode.
Bueno, eso quería compartir para hoy.
And this is what I wanted to show you today.
Y si también se puede compartir en los testimoniales de próxima semana.
And if we could just see these shown in testimonials next week.
Porque no sé si vamos a estar en un sitio con internet.
Because I don't know if I'll have internet access to internet wherever I'll be next week.
Porque al fin de semana vamos a ir en la República Moldavia otra vez.
Next week I'm going to over to Moldavia, which is a country is right by Romania and next to Ukraine also.
Sí, y aquí vamos a hacer otra vez un taller práctico.
Here we have a practical teaching to different people so they could produce better agriculture and health for the cattle and chicks and whatever, the chicken farms. No presentaste nada sobre las vacas ni los huevos de las gallinas.
Sí, pero lo he hecho antes.
Ah, ya lo habías hecho, fenómeno.
Sí, porque estuvimos también en la finca de las vacas, todo de maravilla.
Gianni has previously shown you the cow farms and the chicken farms, the difference they produce with all the ganses.
A ver si encuentro las fotos con las vacas. Un momentito.
I imagine Gianni has already shown you the enormous eggs with 3 yolks in them. That's incredible.
Eso ya lo hemos compartido también en los testimoniales, John.
Sí, él estaba diciendo que ellos seguramente ya han visto esto.
Sí.
Muy marveloso. Gracias, Johnny.
Gracias a nosotros, Mark.
Tranquil.
Tranquil, sí.
All right. Well, that is got to be one of the more amazing testimonials, covering all the angles from different nano coating through to different ganses to using the fields of the ganses directly in the field, literally fields in the field. What could be more direct and literal than having success in the field with the fields?
Beautifully produced program by you, Rick, and the participants and the attendees. Excellent.
Well, we've got one more to go. I want to stretch out a bit here and get in our other testimonial. If people need to leave, they can, but we actually started a half hour late, so we're up on, I think, probably close to 3 hours altogether, something like that. Yeah, I'd like to get in that. Pardon me?
John, please help me.
John, are you there?
Yes, I was trying to open the microphone. Yes, go ahead. Adelante.
John, si Rick está de acuerdo, voy a poner algunos 5 o 6 fotos y vídeos nuevos con el huerto de la finca y con los ganses que he hecho el domingo.
If you like, he can show you 5 or 6 pictures he took this weekend from where he was.
Ok. Sí, así es otra formación estrella que he hecho este domingo.
This is another star formation which I made this weekend.
Y aquí he utilizado en el centro CO2 hecho con sal de mar.
As you can see, the center flask has a CO2 made with seawater.
Y también he utilizado sal de potasio, magnesio y calcio.
I've also used potassium salt, magnesium salt, and ordinary salt.
Esos gases los utilizamos también en el campo, para los animalitos y con muy buenos resultados.
We're using these GANs for the fields, the plants, the cows, the chicks, and everything, and we're having beautiful results with this production of ganses.
Sí, y también un poquito más adelante vamos a ver, hemos utilizado el multímetro para que se vea que no es electrolisis.
And we've used the tester to show that we're not using this as an electrolysis chemical reaction.
Sí. Y aquí los reactores son conectados en serie.
The reactors are connected in series.
Y vamos a verlo que no hay nada de electricidad.
And as you can see, there's no electricity being used here.
Eso creo que es en el próximo video.
In the next video, we show this. Measuring with the tester. Or multimeter.
Aquí eso hemos hecho el domingo porque ya aquí va a empezar la siembra de otoño.
We did this yesterday, this Sunday, because now in autumn we have to start with the sowing of fields.
Should I turn on the sound or does Gianni want to talk about it?
¿Querés hablar de esto también o qué? Lo del multímetro.
Sí, eso quería que se vean que estoy midiendo aquí y no hay nada de electricidad.
As you can see, the multimeter is practically on zero, so we're not using any electricity.
Y por eso los ganses salen muy, muy intensos.
And that's why the ganses produce a very intense, they have very strong fields.
Y se necesita utilizar muy poco.
And we have to use very little, not big quantities.
Ahora vamos a hacer el experimento más complejo porque estamos en la República Moldavia.
Here we're in Moldavia right now, and we're going to show new intense experiences.
Y aquí también tenemos un laboratorio donde vamos a hacer muchos tipos de pruebas.
And there's a lab here where we're going to show them several experiments.
Porque ahora estamos preparando los ganses.
Now we're preparing the different ganses.
Y después vamos a utilizarlo para que se vea cómo germinan las semillas con plasma.
And then we'll be able to show how the different seeds will start growing.
Aquí los con quien estamos trabajando tienen más de 1000 hectáreas de tierra.
The people we're working with right here, right now, have over 1,000 hectares to sow.
Y han visto los resultados que hemos hecho en Rumanía y ellos también quieren aplicar aquí, experimentar.
They have seen the results we have had in Romania, and now they're wanting to do the same experiment here in their place.
Aquí en la imagen es un reactor de ZNO.
Here we have a reactor of zinc oxide.
Y eso es, la conexión hace que es interacción entre los dos, no electrolisis.
And as you can see, the two coils interact between each other and there is no electrolytic connection.
Ok, Siri va a pasar a las otras.
Can you show the other pictures, please?
Porque también hemos hecho el gas de CO2 con LED.
We have also produced the CO2 GANs with a LED, green LED, LED.
Bueno, aquí el vídeo está hecho a unos 30 minutos después de empezar y ya se puede ver cómo los reactores trabajan.
This picture was taken 30 minutes after we started this experiment, and you can see how the different GANs are being produced.
Y el aminoácido se ha producido deprisa y muy hermoso.
And we've also managed to have a good production of amino acids immediately.
Aquí para la formación estrella, cuando no hemos tenido agua de mar, en el centro hemos puesto cloruro de sodio.
When we don't have seawater at hand, we use ordinary salt.
Es muy sencillo cuando, por ejemplo, para los politos se necesita calcio o para las gallinas, solo hay que tomar del reactor donde lo hemos hecho con sal de calcio y ya tenemos el calcio para los pollos o las gallinas o donde se necesita.
When we produce the GANs with the ordinary salt, this also provides the calcium for the chicks when they drink that water.
Es maravilloso. A
It's
ver,
marvelous.
aquí es el reactor de CO2 hecho con un LED verde.
Here you can see the production of the CO2 GANs with a lead in between the coils.
Aquí con ese método se puede obtener 90% CO2, 10% ZNO.
In this way we produce 90% of CO2 GANs and 10% of zinc oxide in this container.
Sí. A ver si pasa Rica las otras en el huerto.
Could you go to the next pictures, please, Rick?
The one after this, or do you want this one?
Sí, hay más.
Yeah, the next one, please.
Okay.
Después de eso hay 3 más.
After
Okay.
this, you got 3 more
Okay.
pictures as far as I can remember.
Aquí es el huerto con legumbres y plantas medicinales.
Here you can see where we produce different vegetables and medicinal plants.
Y aquí no se ha removido la tierra, nada de nada.
Here we haven't moved the earth at all.
Se ha rociado el suelo y después se ha cubierto con paja.
We've only put some dry grass on top of the earth and sprayed it with some GANs.
Y así en Rumanía ya la temporada de los tomates se ha acabado, pero solo para los que no trabajan con plasma.
Here in Romania, the time for production of tomatoes has ended, but this is for people that are not using the ganses. The people that do use ganses are still producing tomatoes.
Cuando se utiliza el plasma, recogemos los tomates del mayo hasta el diciembre.
When we use plasma, we cosechar.
Cuando utilizamos el plasma,
Sí,
estamos recogiendo del mayo hasta el diciembre.
Sí. From May to December, we have tomato production continually.
Y no le importa que no ha llovido de mucho tiempo.
And it doesn't matter to the plants if it's has rained or hasn't.
No tienes que trabajar la tierra de ningún modo.
You don't have to work the soil for nothing whatsoever. You don't have to work the soil.
Sí, y tenemos una producción maravillosa, pero el sabor es más importante.
The amount we produce is pretty big, but the best thing is the taste of these tomatoes is marvelous, marvelous taste, beautiful salads.
Sí. Y bueno, eso quería añadir.
That's what I wanted to add.
Y otra vez agradezco a todos y recuerdo que en la página de la fundación hay toda la información.
And I thank you all for all this, for all these testimonials, and in the foundation page you got more information.
También para los que quieren experimentar pueden comprar los ganses de la fundación.
And whoever wants to make a quick production, they can buy the different ganses in the foundation.
Sí, y claro, solo experimentando podemos ver la diferencia.
And only experimenting with this, we can see the big difference between the plasma technology and the normal scientific production.
Gracias, gracias, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful sunflower.
Yes, I clipped this out of the video and used it as the background image for today. I was going to use the other one with the hand, but I like the brightness of this one a little more, so it got chosen. It's a beautiful plant to be.
20 or 30% bigger than the ones we have here in Argentina.
Uh-huh.
The spider photograph is also nice, maybe for the reactor group as a background, Rick.
That's an idea.
Very colorful and nice.
Okay, well, Gianni, that's a fantastic show. Thank you very much for your contributions and continual experiments and continually helping others and developing new techniques and all kinds of things. It's great work. Multifaceted.
Maybe I could ask you one quick question. When you were putting the honey and the GANS water into the bee boxes, does that replace what you used to put on top of the box, the water? John?
El agua con miel que ponías dentro del cajón de las abejas, ¿reemplaza lo que antes ponías arriba del cajón?
John, eso se hace cuando hay una colmena nueva para ayudarlo hasta cuando empieza ellos a recoger todo lo que es necesario.
Para iniciarlo, sí.
Sí.
Yeah, no, they use this, they have a small trough as you've seen in the box, and that is to start the beehive inside the box. If not, the bees may leave the place. You got to entice them to stay there.
A starter, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Y a las abejas le encanta el aquaplasma. Le encanta, wow, lo toman y muchísima. Al principio, pero no es solo agua, porque teniéndolo encima están creando unos campos que funcionan continuamente.
Yeah, they love the plasma water and they sense the feels inside the box. They love it.
Eso es maravilloso porque funciona, que lo toman, pero funciona también por los campos.
The plasma water works as a water they drink and also the feels they produce inside the box.
Y eso se puede ver donde tenemos los tanques de 1000 litros con aquaplasma, la vegetación alrededor, todo es maravilloso, todo.
And you notice this where we have that 1,000-liter tank. All the nature around that tank is lively. Everything changes.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Yes, indeed. Great input. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. I'll be going over to the Spanish teaching, which is started 30 minutes ago. So
okay.
Go over there.
Well, thank you very much for being on hand here, John. It's very helpful.
It's a pleasure.
All right, it's tempting to wrap things up, but I would like to get the transmutation testimonial in, as was recommended by Mark. What do you think, Mark? We have time for that?
We have all the existence of the universe, Rick.
We have nothing but time. Okay, let's go for that. Unless there's somebody else that'd like to say something at this point in time. Okay, we'll listen to, this is an excerpt from it's from our plasma group, correct?
Yeah.
Is that where you took this from?
Still from the transmutation test, apparently, and some additional, I think, insurance that he may have taken. Meaning there was a bit of additional processing, but after the transmutation test, apparently these effects have taken place. And this was just not a recent issue with this gentleman. This had been, in a way, up and down over the number of years before, but in the recent time, it had become a more severe problem until he went through the transmutation session, according to his own testimony.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're going to listen to here. So without further ado, let's be introduced to Nick and allow him to tell his story.
Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dimitri. We have 3 hands up here, and I think the first one was Nick. Nick, could you go ahead, please? Then we have Dean and Marinez.
Yes, can you hear me, Rick?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Nick V from Sydney, Australia, and I'd just like to make a testimony of the 24th transmutation test last month.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Keshe. Good,
Are
yourself?
you sure you want to go out with this?
Well, I was going to say it last week, but I thought I'd wait another 7 days just to make sure and make an honest assessment of it, an opinion.
Okay,
Would you like me to tell it, or?
go ahead. We know the situation, and thanks God for that. Go ahead.
No worries. So what happened, I did the transmutation test on the 24th, and I actually had a feeling that I was drawn to it, to be honest. Now, I did have a medical condition the last 2 months where I was really bleeding a lot internally. So when I went to the restroom, it was very, very heavy. And this happened I started bleeding internally about 4 years ago, but it just was on and off. And now I've had a lot of hits, accidents in my life. So I've always soldiered on, and really just try to exercise myself and eat properly and just try to see if it goes. But I know 2 years ago when I went to the Manchester, London, the Plasma Space Traveller group, and I went on the headphones, the Iranian the Iranian units, cosmic ray units. I know Mr. Keshe called the team, and he said, please give me a graph of what happens when they're on the units. Now, when my graph came, Mr. Keshe told me a bit about it, and he actually noticed something. He said, do you have cancer? And I said, well, I'm not sure, Mr. Keshe, but I do have something wrong with me. And I don't know if you remember that, but that's what you told me from the graphs, from those cosmic ray Iranian units that you got. And so what happened, I kept on, every now and then the bleeding will start and stop. But for some reason, the last 2 months, it was really, really bad. And all the signs turned out, when I read about the signs that I had in that, it was colon cancer. So what happened, I said to myself, well, it is what it is. And I knew it was pretty bad. So I said to myself, I'll go as long as I can with it. And then if I need hospitalization at the end and whatever happens, I'll do it. But I was hoping it will go. So 1 month, full on bleeding. There was no really pain, but it was just every time going to the restroom was just a real lot of blood. Second month, the same thing. And then that's when the transmutation test on the 24th happened. So I said to myself, 1 more month, if it happens, then I'll go and I'll have to go in. So, but I remember just before the 1 week before the transmutation test, I was getting very tired. So I was more tired than usual. So I knew the bleeding I was losing a lot of blood. Anyway, I did the transmutation test. So I think it was about the second hour, I felt myself just expand, like blow up and just expand, but it stayed there. And I can't remember how long I was there for, but it felt like I was there maybe 5 minutes, maybe more. And then the test ended in that. But what happened, I felt good. I went to sleep. When I woke up in this next morning, usual, the bleeding completely stopped. And I was thinking, it's first time in 2 months, maybe it's, I was thinking, is it the transmutation test? Is it, this? And so the second day, third day, fourth day, nothing at all. Now it's been 12 days. My bleeding is completely stopped, like a miracle. Now, the next day when I woke up too, I was really energized and really happy. There was no bleeding for the next 3 days. Really, really happy, really energized, and really, really positive about, like, it was like a big breakthrough for me. I knew something about that test and how I expanded. To me, it felt like my soul expanded, and I was inside it. So because I was inside it, my soul was bringing everything into perfection. But my soul like gave me more time. It's like I needed more time. My soul needed more time on earth to learn. So I'm not sure if it's completely gone or whatever. I had the cancer, but there's no blood at all. I feel perfect condition, very healthy. I've been going to the gym, and I'm actually doing more at the gym than what I was doing before. And yeah, I just like to say thank you, Mr. Kesh. That was a miracle for me. And yeah, the last few months, it's been really hard. I've been going through a lot, and having to deal with that it was pretty messy. But I was amazed at how your technology works, and to hear it is a different thing, but to go through it and then to witness it and to feel it, and even when I go to the restroom now, there's still no blood, and I'm still amazed, to be honest, even though it's 12 days later. So thank you very much, Mr. Kesh, for that.
You're welcome. I hope you find peace with it. And that's all it matters.
Okay. I understand.
That's all it matters.
Yeah.
As you said, when I saw your graph in Manchester, it was clear you have a cancer. But we don't promote these kind of things even though it's there. But as I said,
Yeah, you told me in a way, said, you actually said, do you have cancer, You said it that way.
Yeah, because we see things on the graphs when you work with it so long, you see things you understand. And as you explained with the expansion of the soul, you reach to repair the body the way the body wants to be, the way the structure is going to be. And this is we have proof of it. And you got to understand, on the 24th, we changed the system to what is now, and that's what we said, to expand the body to cover the physicality.
Okay.
Up to now, in transmutations, we always dealt with the soul. For the first time, we brought in the dimension of physicality into play by addition of new, what they call it, positioning structure. And we expect to see this right across the world. This is why now the Wellness Center in Germany is running this test, that if it is, we can help. But you have to be open to it, to accept it, to be there. I wish you all the best. And I hope it brings you peace.
Yeah, well, Mr. Kish, honestly, for 2 months, I was really bleeding a lot, and I was not in any pain, but just seeing it and that, it makes you worry. And I was still doing things, like normal things and that, but to do that transmutation test and the next day just stop, I was blown away. I was just, for once, I think, oh, maybe don't, I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe it's just coincidence. But then the next day, nothing, and 12 days straight. Then, then I realized the expansion and that, how I was in the middle of my soul, brought everything back to where my soul wanted it, to give me more time. So, and
this is what always we said, when the man understands this whole expanding in all dimensions, not just going through your head, but expanding through physicality, it brings everything into balance. And you're one of the prime examples of it. But it's a development in technology now. As we said, the German Center is ready for this. Dr. Kern and the people who work with him will use this knowledge to help and to bring more support to those who want to support themselves.
you know, it's amazing. It's I feel really good. My energy level and my confidence, it's really lifted me up. So, and I feel really balanced inside. And not only that, a couple of days later, I actually did the wellness program. It just came up by coincidence. So I did that too. And I feel really good when I did that. It even balanced me more out. And sort of.
Did you do that under the insurance policy, the wellness policy agreement? The second one.
Yeah, the wellness. I'm not sure. I did it with Dr. Kern.
Yeah, but it's part of the contract. You have 2 times a year to do the session.
That's right. Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah, this is to guarantee wellness with the system. This is knowledge seekers who don't know or know. Keshe Foundations provides these policies that 2 times a year you join a session for these kind of conditions that you bring back. It's just that leveling everything inside.
And that's what I felt. I felt really balanced inside and in harmony once I finished that. And I was very lucky they both came together. Like I did the 24th, my bleeding completely stopped. And then a few days later, I was just very lucky that that came in. Mr. Kern said, "Oh, you're ready for that," and that came in. And I've just been really, really good, in perfect condition. Perfect. My health is perfect. Well, I feel it's perfect anyway.
Thank you very much. I hope you stay that way.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
That's a live testimonial. I have to explain that the new Keshe Foundation technology expansion of knowledge is in line with what we said, that when you expand the soul in dimension of physicality, it's the job of the soul to feed and to put the physicality balance in position that the soul is happy with. And we've seen this is not, we try to keep away from these things and publicity or bring it out, but when individuals like explain it themselves, is the biggest testimonial for what it is and how technology is developed. Thank you very much. But
Okay, I think we'll end it there. It was an excellent excerpt and quite a brave testimonial from Nick, I would say.
Absolutely. I think Carolyn put another question in the chat, Rick, for Gianni, if you'd like to take it. John is still here.
The question being, when did he feed the bees, and when the hives were treated with GANs or plasma, and the plant used? I didn't get the name of it, like clementine.
Okay, we don't have any translators, Rick.
Okay, well, what did he feed the bees? That was
I thought he said
Ganswater, wasn't it? CH3 Ganswater?
Plant materials, I think. Is that what they're talking about, embedded into the wax?
You mean for the actual
Treated with,
hives for the wood?
what did he feed the bees? And when hives were treated with GANs or plasma and the plant used, I didn't get the name of it like clementine. Carolyn, are you still here?
I think you said the hives were treated with GANs water, CO2 and zinc oxide GANs water after they were nano-coated.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was asking because he started out treating the hives or the hive boxes before, and then he fire coated it, but he put the GANs on it, and then a plant that he mentioned and it sounded something like clementine, but I just didn't catch the name of the plant he was using that to with the when he was gansing the hives, and I was interested in that plant. And I understand the rest. Somebody else asked the question, "What are you feeding the bees?" And he said it was honey water. So that makes sense with plasma water. Yeah, I got that one answered. The question about the way he was treating the hive body itself, the hive box.
Mark, can you help with some rough Spanish, perhaps?
No.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll figure it out because I've got lots of hives to play with. So I'm going for it.
Yeah, when he said plant, I thought it was the plant materials, and that would be various different kinds of plants and compost kind of material that it makes.
One of the plants that you would use is bee balm. So it's named that for a reason.
Mm.
Yeah, so I know exactly what to do. So, but he did say his foundation, he could answer questions too. And I wasn't sure how I find his foundation. Is it the Romanian Keshe Foundation or something like that? It's the Keshe group, right?
Gianni, could you put your website or a link that she can contact you? Maybe with more specific questions?
Yes, Mark. Just a moment, please.
Yeah, I know he has a link on the Telegram. I think he has his own name, and then he also has a plasma group there as well. I know the previous group was the Petrilla group. I'm not sure that's the hometown.
In Telegram now, the name is group is Dimension of Plasma.
Simple enough.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you, and thanks for the presentation today. It was just beautiful. Really enjoyed it. We got a lot out of it.
Great, thank you, Carolyn. Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank we, yes.
One moment. Okay.
And that's quite a large plot that this farmer wants to try. 1,000 hectares, Rick, would be about 2,400 acres of land. So this is quite a huge plot. These are 300 acres, which are, to me, quite huge just in and of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Stretches off to eternity, it seems, in the pictures, eh?
Okay, okay.
Can't imagine tending to such fields with no water, you know, essentially. in North America, at least, they're quite used to liberal applications of water when they need to. All right, there's.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying it looks like a number of farmers didn't have a very successful growing season this year in that area.
Mm-hmm. You can see how the use of ganses could become even more and more important in the future if we get into drier and drier conditions locally. Okay, Johnny's put the link into the webinar chat here for those that would like to contact him through Telegram. Again, thank you, Johnny. Thank you very much. Now, is there anything else we need to address today? Shall we wrap it up? I think we probably should wrap it up. Gone double, triple overtime here, and it was just such good things we had to carry on. I was gonna ask Gianni where the spider picture was. I can't remember which video it was.
I think it was the third, maybe the third one. It was further down in the queue. So whatever you played in the middle or towards the third quarter, I think you'll find it there. But I thought that might be a nice background for the reactor group or others.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it. Find the spider. All right, well, thank you everybody for attending today's 94th public meeting for testimonials. Thank you, Mark, for being co-host, and for all of our presenters, and thank you everyone just for being here to witness these testimonials as well. That's all part of the process that's necessary, both giving the testimonials and having somebody witness them. Kind of goes together. So we're all here to bear witness to these amazing changes that people have incurred through the use of the plasma technology. So thank we, as it said. Now, what's coming up? We've got the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace coming up tomorrow. That's Tuesday, September 10th. And that will start at the 4 p.m. Central European Summertime slot. And that will be with members of the Universal Council to put more of a soul-based spin on the plasma technology. And so we look forward to that. And of course, the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group is coming up Wednesday. That starts at 7 a.m. Central European time. And people are welcome to bring even more testimonials or your experiments or experiences or questions or your observing eyes to that group. Any which way, or you're welcome if you're young or old. All righty, I think that wraps it up for now. So again, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next plasma teaching workshop. With our music version, flight enhancement spaceship unit. And may you all have a good flight for the rest of your day and rest of your life. Bye for now.